चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौराय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। Today is a very auspicious day because this is the day of Raas Leela. So today is Sharad Purnima. There is a very beautiful description given in scriptures about Sharad Purnima. So I thought, today instead of speaking about Venu Geet, why not to speak about Sharad Purnima? There is a say on Rasila that unlike other so-called gurus and Siddha Purushas of his time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not allow his disciple to discuss the details of Krishna's amorous love with the gopis, although Saraswati Thakur did indeed have many highly qualified disciples. He was particularly disturbed if we hear of any disciple discussing Rasila. And what was the reason behind that? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada began his mission with a healthy, conversative emphasis on the fundamental principle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. Because he saw there was so much of, mess in the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like, the documents, it shows or it reveals how difficult the time used to be at the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. At the time of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, people, when they are coming for the marriages of their daughter or son, they used to ask, what religion do you follow? And if anybody would say, I'm a Vaishnava, they would not give their daughter in that family. Or they would not let their son getting married to the girl who is from a Vaishnava family. Why? Because Aul, Baul, Sagi, Veki, Churadari, Prakar, Sahajiya, there are 13 different upper sampradaya they came up in the market. And people, they had developed so much of hatred. Openly, men were sending their wives to another person. You go and do Rasila with him. And openly, that other person is sending his wives to the other person. And they were like, on the name of religion, on the name of um, bhakti, they were actually exploiting these innocent girls. And because of that, the intellectual society, they had a lot of hatred and a lot of restrictions in their mind for Vaishnavism. Documented evidences shows that as his mission unfolded, he began to reveal progressively advanced topic also, and all the while making sure that the foundation, Guru Seva and the Nam Sankirtan was unshakably grounded. It is not surprising then what we find historical accounts of his wise cautions and prohibitions, most notably recorded in the books of selected statements by his Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti, Lakshmi Siddha Swami Maharaj. And other statements are also there. They all say that our Guru Maharaj initially was very, very heavy, and he never wanted anybody to talk and hear about Rasila. But eventually, he also became very lenient. Actually, although for 11 months, he may not talk about anything else. But during the month of Kartik, just imagine, he knew the entire Vilapa Kusumanjali by heart. And he used to recite Vilapa Kusumanjali every day. I have one lecture, which was given by Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj in 1932 at Brajmandal Parikrama. And the Gaudiyas, there was a very beautiful magazine, and he gave a very beautiful class. So I would like to narrate that class to all of you. So what happened when he came and then he spoke? He came to Vrindavan and then he started speaking about Atmaram and all. And then everybody was saying, yeah, hey, we came to hear some Raas Katha from him, but he's speaking about Tattva Siddhant and all these things. So I think this guru doesn't have much knowledge or much information or much understanding about what do you call Rasa Tattva. So then he gave a class at the time of Brajmandal Parikrama, which he started in 1920s or 30s. All these days we have not spoken about Leela, but this is our most confidential asset. This is our only sadhya, perfection. One should not make the mistake of thinking that anartha nivriti, yani overcoming the impediments such as lust and greed, is a prayojan. One should not make the mistake of thinking that anartha nivriti is a prayojan. Sometimes we think that, oh, I've overcome lust, so I become perfect. No. One thinking like this will never enter into anartha nivriti. For this reason, I will now begin speaking about Ashtakali Leela. I know that you're not ready to hear it, but we should know that such a transcendental ideal exists within the realm of devotion. Beyond the realm of anartha nivriti is artha pravriti, pure conjugal service to Radha and Krishna. This is transcendental reality. If we do not know of this transcendental realm, all of our efforts may end in nirvisheshvad, yani ki impersonalism. Do not let your day pass in simply trying for an artha nivriti. Artha pravriti is also necessary. Anartha nivriti is necessary until artha pravriti has started. When artha pravriti is present, anartha nivriti becomes unimportant and artha pravriti becomes prominent. What is anartha nivriti and what is artha pravriti? Can anybody tell me? What is artha pravriti? कोई तो बोलो यार.
Accepting what is favorable.
हाँ.
Accepting what is favorable. Sanukulasya sankalpa.
Not accepting, that is different thing. Anartha nivriti means getting rid of your anarthas. And artha pravriti means what have you achieved? You got the point?
Yes, Prabhu.
What have you achieved? If I'm saying, oh, I have so much of anartha, I have so much of lust, anger, greed, all these things are in me, and you're just like, going down and down and down. Oh, let me overcome this lust, let me overcome this, and let me overcome that. Instead of thinking that, if you're thinking about, now I don't take onion garlic, now I'm not eating meat, now I'm not watching porn movies, now I don't have any kind of, desire to eat meat in the market. I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not doing illicit sex. I'm not having any kind of, difficulty in not following the principle of gambling. Like my friend was saying yesterday, Are, come on, man. We do gambling only on Diwali day. Why? For auspiciousness. This is Shagun. I said, oh my God, pick up the scripture and tell me, where is it written that this is the. Huh? Just hold on, hold on. So, पीछे वाली सीट में बैग रखा है और आगे वाली सीट पे वो रखा है, ग्लास रखा है बस. So yes, so he said, it is Shagun. So I have where is it written? He has no nothing like no evidence from the Shastra which says that on the day of Diwali you should be doing gambling. Anyways, so let's come back to what Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj is saying. So Anartha Nivritti is something like meditating on the anarthas, but more than that, Artha Pravritti is very important. When Artha Pravritti is present, Anartha Nivritti becomes very unimportant. Well, how many of you think about eating onion garlic? Hardly. It doesn't even like come in our mind that we have to eat something with onion garlic, right? So those who have chanted Harinam for 15 or 20 years should know such thing. The beginners need not to hear these topics or they will misunderstand. These topics are for the certain audience, not for all. Also, it is said, Apana bhajan katha, apane bhajan katha na kaive jatha tatha. One should not reveal one's bhajan to others. And if we disregard this instruction or our previous acharyas, there may be a permanent fall from the realm of the devotional service. So by removing the clothes of the gopis, Lord Krishna obtained happiness. This is Sri Krishna's sense gratification. Suppose one asks, why is he a sense enjoyer? Let us see him display the behavior of controlling the senses. We cannot ask this because Krishna is not a slave of our desires. By his own will, he can show us sense restraint. And he did show it in his form of Gaurasundar. By this pastime, Shri Krishna is informing us that no one has the right to remove the clothes of the gopis except him. Our duty is to cultivate devotional service. Do not think that Rashikali Leela Smaran is a property of the Sahajiyas. Actually, it is our affair. We must retrieve it from the hands of the Sahajiyas. Our Sri Guru Pada Padma heard these things from Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. That is why he used to tell us various confidential things. Now, listen to me very carefully. This particular point is very important to understand. That some people they say, oh, Babaji only can meditate on Ashtakali Leela. No, I'll give you a very good example of an ordinary terrorist and a trained army officer. A trained army officer, the way he fights and everything, he is like very aligned in all the situations. But a terrorist, as soon as he sees something like, strange is happening, immediately he will start using his gun. What is it? It's all about, for example, one time Sita Maya said to Ramachandra that, Shriram, come in. I have no problem with you. I'm only scared that sometime your Kshatriyatva actually comes out and you can become violent. I'm like, this is very strange, huh? Why Sita Maya is saying that? And it happened once. When it happened? When this guy, his name was Shambho, who was doing some prayer, Shambhuk naam ka there was a Rakshas, and he was doing some austerity, reading the Veda mantras and everything. And when came to Ramachandra that this is Ram Rajya, the rain also falls only with that much which is required. So what is exactly wrong? here. Why my son died before me? Ramachandra, he asked Vishwamitra, what happened? And Vishwamitra said some Shudra is actually chanting or meditating or praying or reciting or the Veda mantras, or he's reading the scriptures or reading the Veda mantras. So he's doing Veda part. I'm like Ramachandra is a Chaitanya Guru sitting in the heart of everyone. Understood that this boy, yeah, sometimes people they want to read um, Veda mantras or Veda part to improve. That I have so much on earth, but if I will associate with the Lord in the form of scriptures, then probably I will, be free from my anarthas. Sometimes people they kind of, you chanting the Veda mantras and all to get some benefits. Like, if I'll chant this prayer for 1 lakh time, I will get if I'm chanting this particular prayer for this much of time, I might get this, I might get that. है ना ऐसा होता है ना. But that Shambhuk, he wanted actually to get the perfection through those Veda mantra chanting so that he could defeat or he could kill Lord Shiva and marry Parvati. So that was his desire, such a weird desire. So Ramchandra understood that this guy is a rascal, He's studying all these scriptures and meditating on all these scriptures simply to get his desire fulfilled. He went there and immediately killed him. Didn't even think once. Because of this particular incident, everybody, all the time they criticize whom? They criticize us. They say this Ramachandra had killed the Shudra. So you should leave Hinduism, become Buddhist. You should leave Hinduism, become Christian. You should leave Hinduism and become Muslim. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But they don't understand that the desire of that particular person was very logic. Otherwise, if there was such a discrimination in the mind of Ramachandra, Ramachandra would not have eaten Dute of Shabri, right? And then, he would not have embraced that Nishad Raj, who was like, out of casted person. And he said that you're my brother. Then Kevat, another person, he was very indebted to him. So, like Ramachandra had always shown his compassionate nature towards everybody. But, like, here it is, why I'm telling you all these things. He was Sridhamaya said that, and Ramachandra, like, just to maybe fulfill the desire, did once. But there was another story comes in the in Mahabharata. There was one Rishi, he was doing some prayers, and Indra was very insecure that he might, like, take my Indrasan. He said, what can I do to distract this guy? So he came to him and he took the form of a king. And he went to the Indra and sorry to that Rishi and said, Sadhu Mahatma, I am a king. I lost my way. And I think I might find my way somehow. But this is my very precious sword. Can you just keep sword with you just for some days? And I'll come and I'll collect it after some time. And that Rishi Muni, he took the sword. He said, okay, leave it there. So, you see here's the difference. When you are not properly be trained, like, like this terrorist, so they take the weapon and they don't know how to use it. Where we have so many, so all the time carrying their guns, and they are always very aligned, peaceful, shant. They are not like picking up their gun and just like shooting, da 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 da. The moment we get the gun, any gun, even if it's a charwal wali gun, the air gun, the first thing we do is we aim something and we say, ah, why? Because we are not trained to use the weapon. That's why we are like, very fascinated about using it, isn't it? So that Rishi, he took out that sword just to see it. And he had moved the sword in the air, and one mosquito cut into two pieces. So he moved. And the moment he had used a sword in another direction, there was a mouse, and he cut into two pieces. Very finely. And then he was just trying to use the sword and cutting the trees and the branches just to see the sharp razor of the sword, which was fascinating him so much. He killed enough animals. He got so much of Papa Karma that whatever Sukriti he had, he lost it. And then Indra took the sword back as a king. So you see, why I'm telling you that Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, what example is giving, that you guys did the parikrama with me. You have heard Harikatha with me. You lived a disciplined life with me. You are living a disciplined life and disciplined, and it was a great austerity to do Brajmandal Parikrama, everything. Now you deserve to hear the Raas Katha. You're not like Sahajiyas, who have no control in their senses, but still they want to enjoy this. There's another article in the Harmonist. In 1932, in the month of Kartik, Gauriya organized the Brajmandal Parikrama spanning 84 crosses, यानी 84 course, under leadership of Om Vishnupad, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Thousand devotees from all part of the world, all part of India participated. The first day of the parikrama saw a grand procession with the Nagar Sankirtan as pilgrims visited the holy place of Mathura. On different days, Srila Prabhupada had his followers sing various songs composed by liberated Mahajans, great souls. Through these songs, which are full of heartfelt appeal, Srila Prabhupada showed that their example of continuous hankering for perfection, Siddhi Lalsa, wow, should be the sole purpose of the aspirant who have attained the stage of Nivritti, in which unwanted obstacles are cleared. Srila Prabhupada personally selected the following song by Das Tagore. Hari Hari Kabe Hab Vrindavan Vasi Nirakhi Nayane Yugal Rup Rashi Hari Hari Kabe Hab Vrindavan Vasi Radha Krishna Sevan Mui Jivane Marane तार स्थान तार लीला देखो रति दीने हरि हरि आर कवे पलती वेदास यही सब करिया बमे अब वृंदावन धमे यही मने करिया छी आस यानी कि ओ हरि when will I be able to live in Vrindavan and be a real Brajvasi? अभी हरि कबे आव वृंदावन वासी. When will my eyes, Nirakhi be Nayane, Yugala Rupa Rashi, beautiful form of divine couple, Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna Sevan Mui Jivane Marane. My life and death is the service to Radharani. And Tara Sthana, Tara Lila, Dekho Ratri Dine. And I shall behold their transcendental abode and pastimes night and day. Prarthana. There's a song from Prarthana. Hari Hari, Arakave, Palatibe Dasa. यही सब करिया बमे आव वृंदावन धामे यही मने करिया छी आस. Oh Hari, when will my life change? When will I renounce all the worldly affairs and make my way to Vrindavan Dham? I cherish this hope. This is from Prarthana 46 7 source. Then another song he used to sing, देखिते भूलिबा वा कबे निज स्थूल परिचया नयने हरिवा व्रजपुर शोभा nitya chid ananda maya. When will I see that I have forgotten my gross bodily identity and am beholding the exquisite beauty of Braj, full of eternal, blissful, spiritual bliss and cognizance. विश्वभानुपुरे जन्म लईवा यावते विवाह हवे ब्रजवासी ब्रज गोपी भाव हईवे भाव आन भव ना रहीवे. You see, क्या बोला उन्होंने? When will I take the birth in Vishwanu Maharaj's town and will marry nearby village of Yavat? My soul disposition and the nature will be that of a cowherd maiden. निज सिद्ध देहा निज सिद्ध नाम निज रूप स्व वसना राधा कृपा भले लभी बाबा कबे कृष्ण प्रेम प्रकारना. When will I obtain by the power of Radha's mercy my own eternal spiritual body, my own realized name and dress embellish my real form? And when will I receive initiation into the technique of expressing divine love for Krishna? यमुना अहरण गिया बुझिवो युगल रस प्रेम मुग्ध हवे पगिलिनी परया गईब राधार यश. As I go to draw water from the Yamuna, I will understand the confidential mellows of Yugal Kishore's love affairs. Being captivated by Prema, I will sing Shiralika's glories just like a mad woman. Only the first verse was presented in the harmonious statical. The rest of the verse, added by the authorities later on. Radha Kund Tata Kunj Kutir, Govardhana Parvata, Yamuna Tir. Remember, Drumit, we went to see the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. A small cottage in the grove on the bank of Radha Kund, Govardhan Hill, the bank of Yamuna, Sharnagati. That was like a beautiful experience. Radha Kund Tata Kunj Kutir. फिर then another song is हमें जमुना पूरी ने कदम काने केरीनु सखी आजा আমার শ্যামবংশীধারী মনমঞ্চ পরি লীলা করে রাস রাজা. So, oh Saki, what did I see today? And a Kadamba grew on the bank of the Yamuna. A beautiful blackish boy holding a flute was standing on a jeweled platform performing pastimes as Rasaraja, the monarch of all transcendental mellows. At the midnight on October 8, at the end of the grand festival, today is 7th, with Kirtan, Srila Prabhupada began to speak to the assembled devotees in Mathura. On Prabhupada's instruction, Sripad Bhakti Vilas Gavasti Nemi Maharaj sang the prayer Hari Hari Are Kave Palati Vedas from Nottam Thakur's Mahashay's collection of poems called Prarthana. At that time, Srila Deva Prasad Sarvadikari, former Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University, arrived, and after paying his regards to Srila Prabhupada, sat down amidst the gathering. Srila Prabhupada proceeded to explain his prayer to Thakur Mahashay, one line at a time. He wanted his highly qualified disciples to inform the world about Raslila in an appropriate way. You see, again, the coming. What we are talking about here is the appropriate training. When by the grace of Krishna, we are much better than any other sampradaya I see around. Why? Because they have higher teaching, maybe, but they give higher teachings immediately to everyone without making other person qualified for it. So, we are very fortunate that, because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Prabhupada, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur, we got trained first. And we got such a nice training, that after spending 5, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, we are qualified somehow to hear about Raslila. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada certainly forbade some beginners from hearing about Raslila, but his order could not have been for all the devotees. For example, one of his most renowned disciple, is our Diksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Our Srila Prabhupada is glorified by the documentary narrator, as well as in many of his interviews in the documentary as a pure devotee. And perhaps the greatest instrument of Srila Saraswati Thakur is spreading pure Krishna consciousness all over the world. Srila Prabhupada ka naam aa gaya. If it were not for our Prabhupada, most of the world outside India would not even know the name. What to speak of the glories of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj wrote a summary study on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead book. In that summary study, there are 6 chapters concerning the amorous pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna, including the Raas Katha chapter. On our Srila Prabhupada's order, the Krishna book was distributed in many languages to millions of fallen conditioned souls, and so many of them become devotee of Lord Krishna. It could not have been a fact that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Prabhupada prohibited our Guru Maharaj from discussing Ras Leela with his peers or with those of his choices. The pure devotee's choice is a choice of Sri Krishna himself. Okay? So the discussion on the Ras Leela among people in general is not recommended because they are led by the Mayavad philosophy. But if one who is advanced explains and people hear from him, certainly the hearer will be graduated to the position of Krishna consciousness and liberated from the episode of Rasila by pointing out that if a person hears from the right source the pastime of Krishna, who is Vishnu himself, the gopis, and who are extensions of this his energy, then he will be relieved from the most dangerous type of disease, namely lust. In other words, one who actually hears Rasila will become completely free from the lusty desires of sex life and elevated to the highest level of spiritual understanding. According to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, describing Rasila are not meant for ordinary person. They're not meant for liberated person only. They're meant for only liberated person. Therefore, these descriptions of the Rasila should not be described to ordinary people. Those who are advanced devotees, liberated from material contamination, can try to understand Krishna's Rasila. One must not try to imagine the Rasila of Radha and Krishna in the mundane term. But even though ordinary person of who is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam do not know the deep significance of Krishna's Rasila, because they hear from Krishna's pastimes, they become purified. So because they hear about Krishna's pastimes, they become purified. And if they hear from authorized source, they will be promoted to the transcendental devotional platform. One time, one person came to me, he said, "Arey, yaar, Srila Narayan Maharaj was speaking about Rasila openly. Why was he speaking about openly? I was not qualified to hear that. Why was he speaking to me?" I said, first of all, he was not speaking it to you, he was speaking to his disciples. Because he knew that if you don't have the patrata, you could not take that much. But on another hand, if you would have the proper mood, you would have considered this as a mercy of him that you not being qualified, he was making you qualified to hear from a pure devotee. You know, it's not because my guru, but Srila Narayan no doubt was a pure devotee. He was sannyasi for almost 50 years, So if a person who's been sannyasi for 50 years, lived an Austrian life, studied all the scriptures under the guidance of devotees, definitely would he was very, very pure in terms of his sadhana seva and the seva to his Guru Pada Padma, isn't it? So then, I told him that he was giving you qualification, but you didn't want to take the qualification. You didn't want to become qualified. What to do? He knew, he saw. Do you think the Chaitanya Guru is not sitting in his heart and he doesn't know that you're not qualified? But sometime you never know. Just like a small 6 years old boy was asked, "You want to find God? Go to the jungle." That particular small instruction of his mother ignite the fire in him, although he was already a devotee from his previous birth. So who knows? In this life, because of our previous karmas or whatever XYZ reason, we are suffering. We are suffering. But who knows when the Hetuki Kripa of the Acharyas will happen on us and we'll be free from all the material contamination. The qualification to be free from all the lust and everything is actually to hear from an authorized source. So I am not an authorized source, I'm telling you very frankly. But we are studying from the books of Chandranayan Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. They are the authorized source. Or from Srila Prabhupada, of course. So when we are repeating the words of these acharyas, actually they are speaking to us through their books. And when we are listening to what they have written in their books, we are actually hearing directly from them. And this will definitely change our heart. Unfortunately, most people do not hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from authoritative sources. They hear only from the professional reciters. Therefore, they remain materially diseased, full of lusty desires. Some become Sahajiya, pretending to be Krishna and Radhani and a Gopi friend, and in this way they behave as if they were the supreme enjoyers. The conditioned soul should hear the Ras Leela dance from an authorized spiritual master and be trained by him so that he can understand the whole situation. Thus, one can be elevated to the highest standard of spiritual life, otherwise, one will be irrigated. Material lust is a kind of heart disease, and to cure the material heart disease of the conditioned soul, it is recommended that one should hear, but not from the impersonalist rascal. If we one hear from the right source with the right understanding, then the situation will be different. कृष्णा बुक से लिया गया है from the chapter 33. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 4 to 30. The Lord is so merciful. Prabhupada is saying, Lord is so merciful that He Himself descended to take the fallen soul back home to the kingdom of Godhead, where the erotic principle of Godhead are eternally relished in their realm, form, distinct from the perverted sexual love, so much adored and indulged in by the fallen soul in their diseased condition. The reason the Lord is Rasila is essentially to induce all of the fallen souls to give up their diseased morality and religion and to attract them to the kingdom of God to enjoy the reality. A person who actually understands what is Ras Leela will certainly hate to indulge in mundane sex life. The specific attraction of his pastime with the gopi should never be understood. The Bhagavatam relates these transcendental pastimes in the 10th canto, and in order to teach the position of transcendental, understand the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality, Krishna's pastime with the gopis, the Bhagavatam promotes the student gradually in the 9 other cantos. ये भागवतम के फर्स्ट कैंटो थर्ड चैप्टर 28 में लिखा है. So why we are discussing this particular point? Because Ras Leela is a very important pastime of the Lord, which can actually give us the qualification to be free from lust. And when we are free from lust, we can actually meditate on the other pastimes of the Lord. Other pastimes of the Lord means definitely our duty is not to play or not to participate in Rasa Leela. That should not be the desire of the Manjari. Manjari is in Nitya Har of Radhesham, in Ashtakali Leela, in all the art yam, all the Manjaris. From the morning till evening, engage in different pastimes to pacify the Lord, which we discussed yesterday is called Ullas Rati, Bhava Ullas Rati. That particular bhav in which they are seeing the divine Kabbalah dancing. So Rasalila Sharad Purnima is a very auspicious day. May Krishna comes in our heart. When the flute of Krishna, we hear it with the sincerity, means the instruction of our Guru, which is which represent the sound of flute of Krishna. When we will hear it properly with the proper mindset, proper consciousness, with proper sincerity, with proper desire to have Krishna in our heart. And Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, Chit de kariya hai kya? And when we make it one with the heart, automatically Krishna will appear in our heart and destroy all the anxiety, all the tension, everything. Just like gopis, they knew that Krishna is there now. We don't care about our family, friends, husbands, children, or anybody. Why? Because he's there. Sometimes it happens, no? When you're with somebody who's very close to you, and then when you're with him, you feel, oh, ठीक है यार. If I'm with him, I don't care about anybody else. You know. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any question, doubt, problem? Anybody wants to make
हरे
any
कृष्ण
comment?
प्रभु जी।
Hare yes.
धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी। आई
Dano
हैव वन
Pradhan.
क्वेश्चन।
Hmm.
रास लीला वॉज टेकन प्लेस एज टू प्लेस, राइट? राधा कुंड मतलब जो गोवर्धन में हुआ था वो एक, और वृंदावन में हुआ वो। जो वृंदावन में जो हुआ उसमें सब गोपियां थी ना, मतलब जो पारकीय
Yeah.
नहीं, सपक्ष और विपक्ष दोनों भी थी, तो गोपी के
Like,
कौन से?
actually, no, no, no. The gopis which participated in the Raslila at Keshi Ghat, we had Stopaksh, Vipaksh, Tatast, or Surda. All four categories of Nitya Siddha gopis. But apart from that, we had Sadhana Siddha gopis, Kripa Siddha gopis, Munichari gopis also. The gopis, I mean the Rishi Muni who were in Dandakaranya took the form of the gopis. They were also there. Then the girls, the daughters of all the demigods, they were also there. And apart from that, the friends of Kailash Maya from Teta Yuv in Janak, they saw Ramchandra and they want to get married to Ramchandra also. Even those gopis were also there. But when they had another Rasila at Radhakund, you know, at Govardhan, of course, in that there were only Nitya Siddha gopis. There were no other gopis.
तो
Chitra?
यस, सो इन विच रासलीला गोपी गीत, मतलब गोपी है संग दैट, मतलब जो गोपी गीत जो आता है तो वो कहाँ पे गाया गया
That
था?
is from there
वृंदावन के
only.
रासलीला में कि वहां पे
Vrindavan,
गोवर्धन?
Vrindavan, Vrindavan, Vrindavan.
ओके।
That was a time when, Radha Rani, actually I explained that today, but I thought let's talk about the significance of Raslila rather than talking about what had happened in Raslila. But I'll give you a very small description what had happened. That in that particular Raslila, all the gopis were dancing. Radharani was also dancing, and she had it in her heart that oh, all the gopis had in their heart that Krishna is only dancing with me. So just because they were becoming very abhimani, Krishna actually wanted to establish the pradhanta of Radharani and immediately got disappeared with Radharani. And then in Shingarvat, he actually braided her hair, and made a radha, and then he took his own peacock feather and put it in the hair of Radharani. And then that time Radharani had it in her heart that all the gopis they saw me and Krishna leaving. So they may become envious of me. Forget about that. The most important thing is the gopis whom I left behind. They have also performed so many austerities, birth after birth, to this particular day to participate in the Rasila with Krishna. So if Krishna has remained with me, then he will not go back to them. And understanding the heart of Radharani, Krishna has decided to get disappeared. But Krishna wanted every gopi to know that your separation for me, okay. But you know why I love this girl the most? Because her separation is much more higher than you. That's why all the gopis can know Sneh, Pranay, Man, Abhiman, they cannot even show that. They cannot even show it. From Bhav, they get some part of frame. But only Radharani can show Sneh, Pranay, Man. Abhiman, Adhiruddha Mahabhav, Madanakya Mahabhav. In the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radharani showed Madanakya Mahabhav, which is the highest separation bhav. And that particular bhav they saw in Radharani, and then immediately they forgot their own anxiety of losing Krishna, but they're specifying Radharani. Because they could not see how much this particular girl is suffering in the separation of Krishna. And their immediately their separation also came back, and then they all came together and started singing what they were missing. And this particular thing happened at Vrindavan, Keshika and Shivat. ठीक है चित्रा?
Yes. So at that time only Radharani matlab sang that shloka na, that verse is from I think 30th of chapter, 10th canto. Ha Nath Ramana Prishna. That is what I have heard. Is it?
Which sloka?
Ha Nath Ramana Prishna Kwasi Kwasi Mahabhuja.
हाँ she said she sang that. Yeah. So that's why
So
Sukdev Goswami also did not speak the name of Radharani directly.
yes. That is the actually only one shlokas dedicated to राधा, मतलब राधा रानी उतना एक ही बोला है कि पूरा गोपी गीत में भी राधा भाव है, मतलब ऑब्वियसली गोपी
I
भाव
think
तो है ही
गोपी गीत
वहां
में
पे.
सब लोग कहते हैं कि that particular shloka, तब कथामृतम तब तो जीवनम. Some people say shloka before that sang by Radharani. Some people they say that the shloka after Tava Kathamritam sang by Radharani. But anyways, whatever it is, whosoever sang the Gopi Geet, everybody sang because Radharani had inspired them to sing, right? Do they have qualification to show their separation from Krishna? No, they don't. It's only Radharani who even teach how to feel separation from Krishna,
Yes,
right?
Prabhu. Yes. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Please glorify
Everything.
Gopi Geet one day if you have a time in between the Kartik, because I also heard that कि कार्तिक में गोपी गीत गाना बहुत ही मतलब important होता है, जैसे
Gopi Geet,
we
we
think.
did the Katha last year on Gopi Geet. If you want, we can do Katha this year also on Gopi Geet.
Yes, please.
Yeah, maybe during
Because
this
yeah, you can glorify actually like the ras part of the Gopi Geet, or what is the importance of singing? What can we, like, how can we feel
Gopi
that?
Geet are very Guyam. People that whatever the commentary acharyas have given, that is the one kind of commentary. There are two, three different kinds of commentaries there. Gopi Geet, and Gopi Geets are not very easy to understand by having a simple understanding. So what I'm saying is that if you want, one of the weekends we can just sit for like 2 3 hours or something, and we can discuss on Gopi Geet only. Maybe 2 or 3 Sundays, if we do that in the month of Kartik, we'll be able to complete Gopi Geet as well, along with Venu Geet.
Yes, yes, please. Our Param
Yeah.
Gurudev has written on book. My Param Gurudev has written on book also, ना? गोपी गीत उनका book भी है ना, प्योर भक्ति पे.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody else? Kalashwasi, Didi Lalit.
No, Prabhuji. It's no questions till now.
वो चैट में लिखा मैंने.
चैट में लिखा हुआ. ऑडियो हो गया. Stanughat Kunj. Which were the type of gopis which got stuck? No, they sadhan siddha gopis, bro. They were sadhan siddha gopis who couldn't complete their sadhana and they got stuck at home. But after some time, when they burned themselves in separation from the Lord, automatically their body got burned and they got the new body. And then nobody could stop them. They came and participated in the past, in the past time of the Lord. Got the point?
Yes, bro.
Hmm. Very good. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय।